Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I am the host and founder of the Psychic News Network, and today is Monday, February 14th, 2022. Here's a message for you. Love is always the answer. Don't forget. I had a pretty good discussion or sermon about love, self-love yesterday. I hope you checked out Church of Spirituality. Thank you, all of you who participated in the meditation for peace on the border of Ukraine and Russia. We did it twice. So far, so good. Nothing's happened. There's a lot going on. This morning, I didn't know what was going on astrologically, and then I checked, and I noticed that the moon is in Leo, and that Mercury entered Aquarius, and we're in Aquarius. And I don't know, let me know how you felt this morning, because it was just like lots of energy. So air feeds fire. The sun is in an air sign. Mercury is in Aquarius now. So that's, probably for a few weeks, right? I'm not an astrologer. I never claimed to be an astrologer. I just know a little bit. And so that's sun in Aquarius, moon in Aquarius today. And then, Mercury in Aquarius. And the moon in Leo. So that's fire and air feeds fire. So with this tension going on in the European countries, we're all connected. We're all, we are all one. We are all we're like electrical organisms, and we're always broadcasting signals. So what's happening in another part of the world does affect each and every one of us. So that stress and that tension, sometimes if you're feeling stress and tension, it might not be you. It might be the collective. Just saying. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. It's winding down. It's about 8:35 p.m. Eastern time, and I've got a list. And I wanted to speak to, I want to tell you all that I forewarned you that I am not good at calling the Super Bowl winner. I never really have been. It's like calling the weather. A lot of variables. Linda G and I both called the Bengals, and it did look like they were going to win until they didn't. So I just want to say, here's my disclaimer. I don't usually get the winner of the Super Bowl. We can't be good at all of it. We just pick and choose what we're good at. So congratulations to the Rams. I would have liked to have seen the underdogs win, but there's always next year. And we had our day in the sun up here in New England with the Patriots for 7 Super Bowls. I don't know. We lost count. Thanks, Tom Brady. The other thing, I just need to speak to this about the Super Bowl, about the halftime show. And I'm going to tread lightly in this territory. You just have to understand, if you can bear with me. I am a singer-songwriter. I always have been for as long as I can remember. And I have a really soft place in my heart for songs. And I also recognize, I'm going to try not to go on about this, but this is just really important to me. I also recognize that music is an incredibly powerful force for uniting the energy of the collective. And I didn't feel a uniting kind of an energy. And I just want to stress to you, I'm not talking anything to do with race right now. I'm talking about my preference for music and songs that have lyrics and melodies over rap music. And I have always felt that way. And the reason that I'm even addressing it right now is because I know there are other people out there too that would prefer to hear bands and songs for the halftime music show. And we haven't really had that for a while. So I was actually distressed about it because I felt like it was chaos. I really did. And I'm actually putting that out there to see if I can actually express an opinion about something I didn't like and not be met with trolls and vitriol by people who think that have a different opinion about it. Songs for me uplift. A good song is craftsmanship, and a good lyric to me is one that you can hear the words to. And I literally was straining to hear words, and I didn't hear any words. And to each his own. If you loved the halftime show, all the power to you. I just want to speak to that it didn't feel like it was uniting us at a time that we really need to be united. And that's all I want to say. And if you want to bash me about it, go ahead. I see opportunities for people to come together singing one song together like it used to be. Like, for instance, the show that Prince put on, God rest his soul, whatever year it was. I know Bruce Springsteen did a song. I do believe Tom Petty did a halftime show. I do believe Tom Petty did, and Aerosmith definitely did. And I'm just speaking to songs that we can all sing together versus rap music, which a lot of people don't know all the words to. 7 minutes in. Okay, next. We have a long list. It really bothers me. Just one more thing about that. When you have family members that you've grown up with, including parents, who have been able to sing the same songs together, that's a unifying force. That's all. Zip it, Annette. You said enough. Let's look at Trump's accounting firm, shall we? Breaking news. It's infinite. The amount of breaking news stories we've had about the orange Cheeto head is astounding. He's the most criminal person in United States history. Let's be real. Abso-freaking-lutely. What's going to happen with this accounting firm dropping him? What, because they can't hold up the lies? They can't support that? Oh my goodness. Are they afraid they might get in a little bit of trouble? He's bleeding money. He's running out. He's bleeding money like a sieve. However, we know that he stole documents from the White House. We know that those documents are top secret documents. Many of them are top secret documents. We know that he's an opportunist who will take any opportunity to fraternize with his dictatorship buddies. He could sell the secrets because he's gonna be out of money. So we're looking at 3 cards about that. Now the Hermit card makes a lot of sense. Yeah, this is interesting because these 2 things are coming up about Trump's accounting firm just saying, sayonara, see you later, alligator. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Unbelievable. Anyway, don't hang out with criminals. Let that be a lesson, right? This is my COVID card. This is also the card of extreme burnout. Can't go any further. And the Rider-Waite deck, it's a person laying on a coffin, like looking like he's dead, but not really. But he isn't dead. Anyway, just practically dead. I mean, the man is completely out of energy and money. The Hermit card is he's on his own now. The Empress has been coming up in the recent past as this has to do with the January 6th commission too. This also has to do with what Letitia James has on him. And also there's a case in Georgia about him interfering with the voting. So this is indicative of abundance, and it's indicative, this is a really pretty card. I love this Empress card. It's indicative of him up against truth. abundant truth. He's up against abundant truth. So let's take another few cards and see what's going to happen to him because of this. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. If you had a great Valentine's Day, feel free to just write down how it went and what happened. The Two of Swords. Trump is going to be between a rock and a hard place, not knowing which way to go. He's going to put some lawyers on board. I do sense that he's going to get money from overseas. But this is a January 6th committee again. So even though we're talking about money, the two are going to, the two of things are going to dovetail. And I think it's all going to hit at once. I really do. I think all the stories and all the subpoenas, I think it's all going to happen at once. I'm going to ask the pendulum if that is in fact the case. Is this all going to happen at once with Trump? Like, now that his accounting firm has dropped him, and now that Letitia James is after him in New York, is it all going to happen at once? Not all at once. When I say it, what I'm referring to is like him really just having to show up in court. Not all at once. Okay. Is the January 6th indictment going to come first? No. Interesting. January 6th indictment is not coming first. So is he going to have to show up to face these fraud, these tax fraud? He's a fraud. It's fraud all over the place. Tax fraud situation. Yeah, that looks like that's going to kind of come up first. Now, Giuliani was questioned today by the January 6th committee. I know. Try to keep up, people. It's a lot of crimes. And Eastman, too. Yeah. This is the... Linda G and I both talked about it was the money stuff that was going to really take him down. Is the court, the election interference case in Georgia going to come up within the next month? Yeah, within the next month. I think astrologically February is like dominoes fall kind of month. But how long have we been saying that? I apologize if you feel like we psychics have been saying that kind of stuff forever. Because we have. But it doesn't mean that we're not right. Just don't ask us about the Super Bowl, that's all. It doesn't mean that we're not right. It just means it's still in motion. Things are still in motion. So we want to take a peek at what Merrick Garland is up to. We're going to just pick 3 cards about whether some of these subpoenas are going to actually like take some kind of material form of actual humans showing up that were the big players in the January 6th insurrection. We're going to take a look at that. Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland. Oh, maybe we can conjure him up. Maybe we can conjure up his energy. Let's tune in. Well, when I tune into Merrick Garland, I actually get a sense of a little bit of like he's having some victory. And I said the other day, I don't know if it was my live. It must have been, was it my live? I think it was. Yeah, that I see him when he finishes up the January 6th stuff he's gonna retire. And that's gonna be not this July, but next July. Merrick Garland, this is a card of lining it up, lining it up, lining it up. But I'm getting, I guess I could describe this feeling, this sense about him as confident. I feel a sense of being confident. And this is a January 6th committee presenting him with what they have. When's that going to happen? We're hearing a lot about the month of July. I know, I feel jaded too. I feel like it was been like last summer we expected something, and the summer before we expected something, and the summer before that we expected something. Yes, I mean, let's remember that When he got into office, the past guy, you know, the Orange Cheeto, when he got into office, like 2 days later, the Million Women March happened. Women all over America, by the hundreds of thousands, marching in the streets, protesting that he even set foot in that White House with our pink hats, the pussy hats with the knitted pink hats. Yeah, I was there. I'm sure you know that. Let's see. Is it going to be the January 6th committee? Are we going to see something major from them by, come on, I didn't even ask the question yet. Are we going to see something major by this month? By March? Major. By April? May? Something major coming out from the January 6th Commission, just in terms of the work that they've been doing. I think it's going to start really coming out. Like what they're ready to present. They're preparing everything. What they're ready to present will be public view by May. But how about hearings? What about the hearings? Gotta fix this thing. What about the hearings? When will we have the hearings? I know Jamie Raskin said April, I think. Are the hearings actually going to happen in April? It looks like yes. Are they going to happen any sooner than April? Are the hearings going to happen any sooner than April? No, it looks like the hearings will start happening in April. So April, May, we'll start to see a lot. And this card just flipped itself over. This is the Four of Pentacles. Right now, they're really holding on tightly to all the information that they have because they want to present it in its perfect form. Relatively perfect form. Let's take a look at Eastman, the lawyer. And I want to actually also take a look at Peter Navarro, who Peter Navarro gets up there and he speaks to Ari Melber, and well, he does the snowplow thing, I call it, the snowplow thing, when you don't let the other person speak, which is completely a proclamation of guilt, if you ask me. If someone's asking you a question and you don't even listen to the question, you just talk over them, guess what? If somebody does that, if you did that, you'd be hiding something, right? Because you wouldn't be interested in taking in the question and, carefully planning out your answer and saying, and here's my answer to your question, if you weren't lying. The truth. They can't handle the truth. Okay, so first we're looking at Eastman. Think he's been subpoenaed and hasn't shown up. I'm losing track, as we all do. All right, he's working for the devil. Eastman, Trump's so-called lawyer, is working for the devil. They're all working for the devil, by the way. We call different person, but we call DeSantis to Satan. They're all working for the devil. They're all working only in their interest of their own selves and greed and lust for power, blind lust for power. And this is so Eastman is going back to the drawing board and trying to figure out ways to be invisible. Ways to be invisible. He's going to be presented, Eastman's going to be presented with like a sort of, I don't know if it's a plea deal, but some sort of a bargain. Like, well, that's kind of what the January 6th committee is, where they if they're going to face sentencing, a prison sentence, the chances are it will be less if they tell more to this January 6th committee. So I actually see Eastman working for the devil and trying to figure out how to become invisible. Trying to find out how to become invisible. And actually, something about what Eastman could gain by answering the subpoena entices him to answer the subpoena. It makes him look less bad. Giuliani he is talking. He's had to. So the guides just said broken man. Giuliani is a broken man. Ooh. Is he crying? Let's see. Is Giuliani emotionally broken right now? Or is he just drunk? Is Giuliani emotionally broken? Yeah. I don't see how Giuliani can get out of the major amount of trouble that he's in unless we just have no laws in this country. And I know we wonder once in a while, do we have no laws? But Giuliani, big time, is having a meltdown. I don't feel sorry for him. He should have known better. I think his brain got pickled by alcohol. It's very, 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 very sad. But he should have known better. Blind lust, greed. That's what the guides are calling it. Blind lust, greed. It sounds like a band. Blind lust, greed. BLG. It's a new thing. We might see that at the Super Bowl next year. I'm sorry. Annette, shut up. Stop it. I'm going to behave now. So Giuliani. Surrendering. Given all the information. Wow. They must really be telling him, dude, you don't want to go to prison. So you might want to cough it up. And he does. Interesting. Interesting. Giuliani's really cooperating. That's what I'm picking up. And we're going to look at Peter Navarro too, who... I think Peter Navarro has lost his mind because you watch him speaking and he's just telling you the entire crime. I'm not really sure what his strategy is, but it's like Ari Melber said, what you just described, Peter, is a coup. And Peter Navarro went, no, no, no. Does he not know what a coup is? A violent overthrow of the government? The Green Bay sweep. You know what? If I was affiliated with the Green Bay Packers, I'd have a problem with that. Honestly. Sacrilege. I mean, don't even get me started about, the things that used to be cool about America that have been just, there's nothing sacred, like the American flag. It's bad. I'm telling you, it's bad. Navarro. He's an emotional wreck. Oh yeah, Navarro's like, he feels like he's doing speed. Peter Navarro. He's a wreck. Ooh, full moon. By the way, I went out to move my car because, I have to park far away, and then as the day goes on and I can park for free on Main Street, I go get my car. So I went to get my car right after the sunset, and I was like, what? It's a full moon almost. This is, I'm just telling you, the moon's really bright and beautiful. Where I am tonight just reminded me. So this is, the full moon's in Leo, I believe. Is that right? No, hang on, because I want to tell you. The full moon is going to be in the sign of Virgo. Sorry, I had to leave for a second. Coming out of Leo into Virgo. Well, and it's called the quickening moon. Let me put this all together. Peter Navarro, very emotional, around the full moon. It's a quickening moon, and it's like Leo into Virgo. Leo, very energetic, very fiery, into Virgo, which has to do with lining up the details. It's part of it. And a great intensity and great burden for Peter Navarro. Somebody's going to really come after Peter Navarro with the book. He's going to get the book thrown at him. Oh, and there's a lovely Tower card that keeps coming up too, but that wasn't the card that I saw earlier. Oh, okay. Well, the Tower wanted to show up. The Tower card, cards have a mind of their own, I swear. The Tower card, he has, the thing that's so amazing about Peter Navarro is he doesn't really realize what he's saying. Trump is the same way, and always has been. I mean, to a point. very often. Navarro doesn't really know what he's saying. It's so interesting to watch him just from a psychological standpoint. Peter Navarro is he's going to have to give up his abundance, his prosperity. I'm not really sure what that means. It might point to that he's going to need a ton of lawyers and he won't be able to afford them. Trusty pendulum, is that what that means? Is Peter Navarro going to need to hire a lot of lawyers and not be able to afford them? Yep, that's what that means. Okie dokie, Schmokey. What else is on the list? Did you get any chocolates for Valentine's Day? How about some roses? Did I get anything for Valentine's? I'm looking around my office like somebody should have just dropped off some roses or something. It's not about that. It's all about being happy and loving yourself. And then, then you just share with somebody fun or lots of fun people, and love is everywhere. There's so many different kinds of love. I do have a list, right? We are going to go to Russia momentarily. I just want to mention that Grassroots of Democracy this week, I'm working on the template. I'll have it out to everybody by tomorrow. This week, we are going to send emails to MSNBC and CNN to ask them to continue to highlight how to defend democracy, what needs to be done, what is being done. And Joy Reid has the Democracy Defenders on, and she was on earlier and had these moms that are, what do they call themselves? Like red, wine, and blue. These moms in either Illinois or Wisconsin. They're in the Midwest somewhere. And they're fighting peacefully. Getting, parents to show up at school board meetings and the such, and the, all the thing about banning books and everything. These are school committee type meetings, open to the public, open to the parents. So they're sort of forming a coalition of, especially women, moms, going into these meetings and standing up for our democratic rights in these meetings in a peaceful way, learning how to not engage. Like, it's really hard if somebody's coming at you and they're like in an attacking way to not like lash back. And I'm speaking from a physical standpoint, like if someone takes a swing at you or something, God forbid, but also how to hold yourself in the face of conflict. So I was impressed, and I encourage you to look into this further. I just found out that these moms have come together, and it's red wine and blue. I guess I like to drink wine together. I don't know. Women like that kind of thing. So they're defending the keeping the books in the libraries. Hello, it's a democracy. Democracy. Human rights, free rights. We get to read what we want. We get to love what we want, all that stuff. Yeah, and also, telling kids that they can't say the word gay, especially in high school. I mean, that they can't use the pronouns that they want. I mean, it's their call. It's up to them. If I was a mom, I'd join them. Anyway, maybe we can send them our support. So, we at grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com is where you send an email, say AYE in the subject line, and thank you all that have joined us so far. We will be sending our letters of support for Joy Reid having Democracy Defenders, for example, and we're going to ask them to please, we're going to beg them to please talk positively about the Biden administration. Because why not? Does it all have to be about the orange Cheeto, or can we switch topics and talk about what the Biden administration has done and plans to do for the American people? It's a very long list. You can Google it. We can send it to you if you write to Grassroots of Democracy. I do want to ask about what's going on in Texas right now is that, of course, we know they restricted voting. So they're voting in Texas. I'm not sure what their vote, if it's the primaries or I just caught the news really quickly, but I'll go back and look. 40% of the mail-in votes were tagged and sent back as they were tagged as faulty. 40% of the mail-in ballots. Apparently, you need your license, you need your birth certificate. I'm just making that up, but the license definitely. Maybe you need a birth certificate. Maybe you need to tell them whether you prefer to swim in the ocean or a pool. Maybe you have to tell them the name of your firstborn child and your lastborn child and your genetic DNA makeup and well, anyway, you need an ID number. This is to vote in Texas. You know, I just had this like fantasy idea a little moment ago where I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could just vote? Because voting fraud was never a thing until Trump made it up and brought it up, which is a way that fascism starts to happen. Yes. 40% of the mail ballots in Texas were flagged as faulty, so those people couldn't vote. They were sent back to the people, and they need in Harris County, and they need some kind of mysterious ID number. They're making it really difficult. People, let's be serious. We have to be on board. We have to put the pressure on. These voting restriction laws are not reasonable. They're designed to keep people, certain people of the democratic persuasion, you know, the people that want democracy, they're designed to make people not be able to vote because the Republicans think that's the only way they can win is to let everybody think they have the right to vote, but they really don't because it doesn't matter. This is what happens in dictatorships and authoritarianism. It's bad. You know, and the other thing is, the thing about the, you know, right-wing media and all that and Trump is like, the way they get in is they repeat things over and over and over and over and over and over and over, which was in Hitler's playbook. So the Democrats have to start repeating things over and over and over and over and over and over. This is, I always remind people of like when Trump said, the reason we have more COVID than other places is because we have more testing. Which was like one of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard somebody say. Which is like saying the reason that you're, you know, just saying to a woman, the reason that you're pregnant is because you took a test. It doesn't make any sense. But he said it over and over and over and over. Just like he said voter fraud over and over and over and over. And you could make a list a mile long of all the things that Trump said over and over and over and over and over. This is how advertising works. Hello? How many of you feel like you should ask your doctor about Humira? Don't even get me started. Anyway. So the Democrats have to start doing the same thing. It's the Leo. It's the Leo energy in the air today. Leo and Aquarius together. And I'm a fire sign. Okay, let's see. What's going to happen in Texas with all this baloney? Malarkey. This malarkey baloney, what's going to happen in Texas? We need 4 cards for this. Oh, Craig happened. Remember I was telling you the other night about how when I think about Florida and I think about Texas, it's just like this awful negative energy coming from the governors and just like, people, if you live there, you need to do something. We'll help you, but we need you to rise up. Voting rights restrictions. I know, you're not going to believe me, but I'm just going to tell you that I feel like the DOJ is going to step it up about that, what's going on there. And I actually feel Biden's influence. It's really painful for people. This is heart-wrenching. What do you mean I can't vote? That's what happens in dictatorships. That's what happens in countries where they have somebody who calls himself president, but the elections are a freaking joke. because they're all corrupt. That's painful. Beto O'Rourke, man of the hour. Page of Swords. I see him speaking out loudly. Yeah, this feels like the DOJ stepping in. And I know you don't believe me. I'm just saying what I see. I don't believe me either about this. It looks like the law, it's so not constitutional. It looks like, I don't know. I know the Supreme Court is not keeping our democracy upheld, which is their job, which is where we are. Oh, pendulum. Oh, trusty pendulum. Is the DOJ going to step in about what they're doing with voting in Texas? Yeah. Is the Supreme Court going to step in? Yeah? That's weird. Even the psychic can be skeptical. Tell me more about that. Even the psychic can be skeptical. It's saying yes. Huh. That the DOJ is going to step in Texas and say you can't do that. But what showed more was that the Supreme Court would. I don't know. Maybe they're going to try to save face. So interesting. I'm just as surprised as you. The sun shining is going to illuminate. It's going to be so glaringly obvious how unconstitutional this is. Civil rights violation. People are going to come together against this, what Texas is doing. 40% of the mail-in ballots got sent back and declared faulty? According to whom? Mr. Abbott. The moon card. Yeah, it's... People are going to start to get real emotional about this. I mean, they're going to start to be like, what? What? You're going to do what? Just trying to vote. A while back, I said I saw a lot of female judges, and that was about the abortion situation. I just see female judges all over the place coming down on these old white men, and not so old white men too, that are trying to steal our democracy. And then, you know, the abortion ban thing is, I see a lot of old white men being shut down by strong women of all color. I'm not going to read on the Supreme Court Justice nominee yet. Maybe I'll do that next time. There was something else. There's always a million things. Of course, Russia. Of course, Russia. The meditations that we did were powerful, and if you do, I know some of you have, and thanks, you know, the universe appreciates it. The silent meditations that we've done, I felt were really impactful, and we'll do it again too. We'll do it again. I promise we'll fit that in. What's going on with Russia? It's getting very, very, very tense. I think that was the energy I was feeling this morning. Mercury in Aquarius and the sun in Aquarius and the Leo moon today. It's not just you. We're all feeling it. But that situation at the border is very, very, very tense. So, this looks better. Now, I've never said that that Putin wouldn't attack, but I see a scuffle at the border. I've seen that all along. And a swift end. And the cups are, you know, like more and more. I mean, the cups, this is like some kind of negotiations happening. Huh. Well, maybe the meditation and prayers are working. They could be. Well, I know they are. I just don't know how long they take. But this is actually fruitful discussion. And Putin hanging on to, you know, working to save face, which is why I see the scuffle. I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling to think about, you know, right now there are submarines, Russian submarines under the Black Sea. I mean, there's always military stuff going on the planet at all times. It's precarious. I'm telling you, it's really something you don't want to think about too much. I mean, we're the two superpowers with the most nuclear weapons. I'm going to read you something before we go. Hang on. Again, I get up and leave you. This is a very old book. And at the beginning of this book, The 100th Monkey, which was written by Ken Keyes in 1981, I believe. Just look at, I ordered it from Thrift Books. It's like practically completely fallen apart. First edition, January 1982. This is like 100,000 copies sold. It sold 300,000 copies. Anyway, this book is dedicated to the dinosaurs who mutely warn us that a species which cannot adapt to changing conditions will become extinct. You know, the United States and Russia have been doing this going through this for a long time, but this is the first time in many decades since the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was in the year of the tiger also. And we're in the year of the tiger. Maybe there's something up with that. And let's ask the pendulum before we go. I don't think Putin is going to survive. Let me just put it that way. I don't think he's going to survive. I think because I actually see a democratic Russia. And I want us to hold a vision for that. Because as goes Ukraine, so will go Russia. Because I see Vladimir Putin not there. This is the most tension this world has been in when it comes to impending threat of war since 1962, Cuban Missile Crisis. So yeah, it's that bad. So, you know, one way leads to more peace and more human rights democracy. The other way leads to, we don't want to think about that. Human rights, human rights, human rights, human rights. Okay, that's what I have for you tonight. And if you loved the halftime show at Super Bowl, it doesn't make me love anybody any less. I had a need to express my feelings as a songwriter. Music can unite us, and when we're all joined together singing one song, there's not many things that are more powerful than that. So that's why I said that. I will see you again in a couple of days. Today's Monday, Wednesday, I'll come back unless something, you know, really, really, really big happens and I feel like we need to talk. To join, blah, blah, Grassroots of Democracy, just write to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and write AYE in the subject line, which is how they vote in Congress, I. And our meetings are every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. You will receive an invite if you put yourself on the list by sending an email. And Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. We're meeting every single Thursday. And we'll tell you what we're doing. We're communicating. Many voices as one voice. We're communicating our message as a group. It's exciting, actually. Thank you for all your support. If you'd like to book a reading, please be patient. It is AnnetteDionPsychic@gmail.com. Namaste. See you soon. Love you all. Hit the like button and all that subscribe stuff and all that I always forget to say. Love you. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye.